they literally called him the king of 7th Street, and it wasn't
For a
anything
while.
that had to. Welcome to another episode of the Sweat Equity podcast brought to you by M4D Concepts. My name is Chris, KP, Bailey, and Jawan, and here we are. And today we're going to talk about the importance of the people that you surround yourself, hiring, the team that you build, and the importance of the people that you put around you if you're wanting to go to another level. And also a little bit about how your circle and your friends will change as you continue to level up. So, real quick, we'll say a quick prayer, make sure that this gets where it needs to be, and we'll start it out, all right? Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this opportunity to be able to reach other people. We just pray that everything that we say comes directly from you, and the people that need to hear it, that they hear it, they understand it, and they understand that it's a word from you. And the only thing that we're trying to do is help others and serve others by glorifying your name. So we pray that you anoint this podcast and help it reach the people it needs to read. In your heavenly name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So I think one thing that we've really learned in business and seeing the success that we have is the importance of the people that we put around us, and the people that see us in a different light once we start elevating ourselves, when jealousy kicks in instead of celebration. And I think that that's a real thing that needs to be talked about sometimes, because once you start elevating and you have run a successful business, you'll start to see that your circle falls off. And also I want to go into a little bit about, when you want to elevate yourself and you want to go to another level, it's important to hang out and surround yourself with those type people. As Jim Rome said, you are the 5 people you hang around, which I love the 5 people that I hang around. Well, the 3 really, but the people that I hang around are very important to me, and they all are serve a purpose in my life, and I hope that I serve one in y'all's. But, an experience for me, I'll kind of give an example, is growing up the way I did. I never knew what kind of Ferraris there were, what kind of Lamborghinis there were, because that was never in my realm of financial anything. I grew up on food stamps. We were very, very poor. We always bought cars that were 25 years old, the big body caddies and stuff like that. So that was never in the realm of my thinking. But the older I got and the more I surrounded myself with people that drove Lamborghinis and R8s and GTRs and supercars as such, it kind of has reprogrammed my brain that there's no reason that I can't do that either. These people are no different than I am. A lot of them came from same, if not worse, situations than I have come from, and they're doing it. And so I think it just speaks to the fact about, the people you surround yourself with. What do they say? If you lie with dogs, you're going to get fleas. If you hang out with bums, you're going to be the next bum. So that's a little bit what I want to touch on. These guys have some really great stories about how their circle and their life has just shifted over the last 2 or 3 years, coming from people that, were on the same level. And I never want to talk down about people, and I know nobody else does, but there does require a circle and a level change as you move up in success and in business and stuff like that. So let's get into it. KP, we were talking about a little bit before we went on air, and you had some really great points. So I would like to hear a couple of those.
Yeah. I think one of the things you mentioned was like outgrowing people, and when to know that's the right time, or when to realize that you need to be around people that are really going to help you level up. And then going back to you hanging out with people that are driving Ferraris and stuff. Like if you think back to earlier on in your career, maybe 10 years ago or so, 15 years ago, in your bar owning career, I'm assuming that the people that you hung out with didn't challenge you. They
Not even a
probably
little
didn't.
bit.
Yeah, they didn't encourage you to do better, to get in the gym more, to learn how to be able to provide for your family, to be able to help your staff make the most money. But now the people that you hang out with that are self-made millionaires, people driving these cars, still very humble people, they probably challenge you every time you're around them.
Yeah, because again, it's important to hang out with the people that you want to be like, not necessarily personally be like, but you want to see that level of success. And I've taken Juwan out to Joe Tech several times, and he's met some of my really good friends that have become his friends, Ben and Kenny. I was just telling him how, Ben, we were at his birthday dinner the other night, and he brought Juwan up. He was like, man, that is just a great guy. He is just a genuine person. And he goes, I bet people just love to be around Juwan. And I said, they do. And that is coming from a self-made, not a billionaire yet, but his net worth is probably somewhere close to it.
Yeah.
And that's just a few interactions that Juwan has had with Ben, and that just speaks to his personality and things like that. And I hope that encourages you to look at people like Ben and my friends and Kenny, and that have become your friends, to do the same, and I know you've had a lot of personal growth, and at some point you become the person that people look up to. And I think I was telling you on the phone last week, whether you realize it or not, you have people, all of y'all have people that look up to y'all, that want to be like y'all, that mimic y'all, whether it be your kids or the people around you. And whether y'all see it or not, it is that way, And Bailey, I was telling, like, Jessica now dresses like Bailey, wears the same perfume as Bailey. You know what I mean? Because that's what she wants in life.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to realize that our role around the people that we are, that the people that we're around, to realize that we are an influence to them, and people do look up to us. And, I don't want to say sink or swim as, sink or swim as a friend and really show who they really are.
Yeah. So exactly, like, dealing with other entrepreneurs, it puts you in the mindset of an entrepreneur, which is what we're doing. If it was easy, everybody would do it, right?
Yep.
But it's a challenge. We got to get out of our comfort zone. So if you think about some friends that you've had that you've maybe had to outgrow, maybe they were still great friends, but maybe they just didn't challenge you. Maybe you were too comfortable in that situation. And it's really hard to know at what point you might not necessarily even part ways, but maybe just pull back a little bit and put yourself in different scenarios so that you can level up. We've always said it. We don't want to always be running bars. We have goals of owning lots of businesses, of consulting for bars. We know that we can do anything we put our mind to, but if we put ourselves with people that didn't have that same feeling, would we feel that?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah. We push each other every single day. I mean, we hold each other, our accountability for each other is there. And just the encouragement and the continuous encouragement is huge for me. I'm an all or nothing person. And so, I've completely removed my personal life, to be honest with you. I'm all in work. I'm all in here. This is my group. This is the people who I want to surround myself with. And you just have to know yourself and know who you are, because Juwan's really good at, having that work-life balance and, hang out with his friends on a Tuesday night. I am not. I know I'm not that person. I Monday through Friday, I'm a very strict. We go home, we get the job done, and we get up and we get ready for the next day. If I was to go hang out with my friends on a Tuesday night and get home at 10 p.m., that Wednesday is a blur for me. I am not going to be my best self. I am not going to be my successful self, and I'm not going to show up for my team, and I'm not going to be. So every individual is very, very different, and your team's going to see that, and they're going to support you. But you also have to believe in yourself and know who you are, to provide your best self for what you're doing every single day.
We pick up each other's bad habits.
That is very true.
And negative energy.
Yeah.
Think about when you're with people that are negative. And we say this to our staff all the time, like, leave your personal stuff at home. Because what happens when you come to the bar and you're frustrated with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your neighbor, your friend, whatever it is, and they come in with a bad attitude, it's not very long after that you see people starting to leave the bar.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be around that negativity. If you all of us have had a friend that at some point in their life has been so negative that every time you talk to them that it's woe is me, poor me. I mean, to be fair,
it's
I've
draining.
been that friend. I mean, I've been at a place in my life where I was so down on myself that I was that friend. And that's why I can recognize this. When you're that friend, nobody wants to be around you, you
Yeah.
know? And that's why it's so vital that you're positive, you're protecting each other's peace and you're not destroying it, and that you're, you know, just a good vibe.
Yeah.
But
Honestly.
for you to become self-aware and know that and know where you were. I mean, it can be very blurry at first, but you probably had a friend come to you and say, "Hey, KP, what's going on?"
I 100% did.
And that's a good friend. That's who you need in your realm, you
Yeah.
know?
Hurt people hurt people.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I want to, like how Bailey was talking about Jawan's personal life and balance. In a way, I'll be honest, I kind of envy that
Yeah, me
because he
too.
does
I do too.
make
I really do.
make time to continue doing the things he enjoys, playing softball, playing golf and things like that. Me, I'm kind of the same way. The one thing that I make time for is work and the gym. Those are my two things that I do every single day. And other things outside of that realm, like Bailey said, the other night I went out for a birthday dinner and didn't get home till 11 o'clock. And my God, I was so tired. It just threw my everything off
Yeah.
from that night to the next day because
Yep.
I'm perfectly fine with going to bed at 8:30, 9 o'clock
Yes,
these days. I've learned that I don't, I don't miss out on things like that. But
Yeah.
in a sense, I kind of do, and that's why I kind of, I do admire Jawan and his ability to continue to get out and spend time with his friends and spend time with the people that are important to him and still wake up and be here for work. He may be a little
Absolutely.
sleepy sometimes in the morning, but he's still here. He still does his job. And so, but in that sense, he, out of the four of us, I will say his social impact, well, mine first and then Jawan's, his social impact went from this, where they literally used to call him the King of 7th Street, to now he can walk into bars and get ID'd because not every single person knows him. And Jawan remembers that time when that was me for a little bit, where I didn't wait in line, I didn't pay for drinks, I couldn't go anywhere with like, oh, that's Chris Jordan. I'm never Chris, I'm always Chris Jordan.
Always.
But and we didn't wait in lines. We didn't do anything like that. We were always the social butterfly, and then once again, like we talked about in one of our other episodes, where I kind of stepped back and let you guys start running the business.
Yep.
Jawan became that social butterfly, which he absolutely was not before that, and then he became. What they literally called him the King of 7th Street, and it wasn't
For a
anything
while,
that had to do with money or power or anything like that. It was, they just looked up to him. But then once he stepped out from being, just a bartender into being an owner, I feel like that's where your circle went right back into the people that truly cared about you. But then a lot of people, I don't want to put you on the spot, but kind of hurt you in a way, because they really kind of showed you their true colors of, man, like, now that I'm not on your level, you wanted good for me, but you just didn't want me to be better than you. And again, we're not saying we're better than people. You just leveled up. Whereas, quite frankly, they're still doing the same thing they were doing 5 years ago. So if you want to speak on that a little bit and how that kind of affected you and how your circle went from this to this in a very, very quick manner. I mean, it wasn't like it just, over a long period of time. It was over a period of a year or so. And I think that really started whenever you moved to Richardson. And again, a lot of people showed you who your real friends were versus who were around you to get free drinks and let you pay for things or let you get them in the clubs and let you, let them coattail ride, to be essential, to be quite frank.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, in a way, like I guess you say hurt. I say more it did annoy the hell out of me, I guess, more than anything, because I was never that person to like just let people, leech on. I was never a leecher myself. It was like, all right, cool. You're either gonna have fun regardless by yourself or with people or not. But then I think I like opened myself up to being that party person that people knew. I was like, man, they don't understand. The only reason I can party is I work all day.
Yeah.
Not work all day, but I do my work first, then I can party or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
Work
once,
hard,
yeah,
play
work hard, play
hard.
hard.
Yep.
Well, you were working
That's
7
literally
days a
the
week
thing.
too, because you
Huh?
were still at the keg. You were working almost 7 days a
Yeah,
week.
yeah. When I was at the keg, I was at
Doubles.
Hatters. Yeah, doing doubles. Sometimes I would leave the keg at 7, but like 8 o'clock or so, and I get to Hatter like 9 or 10. Then that boiled over to like just completely going to Mad Hatter for a little bit, and then I mean, there's just gain. Like you see more people coming around you because like, oh man, they see that guy's partying. But like some of them true friends. I got the Jacob Crosses, the Eds, BJ's, Nams. Like those are all true friends because right now they're still around. They found a way to get out to Richardson. You got the other group. There's like I'd say there was a good 20-person group. Kristen and Nana, they came out there. Anna came out there a couple times. But there are others like, man, I know, but it's so far. I was like, I can see you're in Dallas. So if they all forgot, like we all share locations. I was like, I
Yeah.
can see you're in Dallas.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that pissed me off. It was like,
You're so close.
so like, I'm supposed to be a friend, but you'll pay to drive to Dallas. You'll pay to get on that train to go see somebody you don't know in concert, but you won't pay that 10 cents, well, not 10 cents, but $10 to go see your friend like 15 minutes away. It's like, all right, cool, whatever. And that's when I'm kind of like, all right, let me step back. And then once you step back, you notice, oh, what's wrong with you? What's wrong? Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you so good? Why are you better than me? I was like, I'm not better than you. I just understand now. That sounds so weird because the real is not this guy says I understand now. So nothing to do with that, but 100% you do understand. It's like,
sure.
You're here for the party and you're here for me paying the tabs. You're here to be around the king, which I hate it, but like because I have a nephew named Kingston and it throws me off when I hear it. So.
And I will say that was not a name that I've ever heard Jawan call himself.
No,
No.
he doesn't
Never.
want to be called the king at all.
Every-
We still mess with him because we know it gets to him.
I mean, they made a shirt with his face on it with a
Yeah.
crown on it.
Biggie
you know?
Smalls like crown, like he
Yeah.
has that photo of himself. And
but
I'm not
it-
gonna
My mom
lie,
has that photo. She hung it up. I was like, why do you have
I'm not
this
gonna lie.
up?
At the time though,
Yeah, it was cool.
you
It was
really
just fun.
fit the title. I mean,
Yeah,
come on,
I
who
mean-
who did not know you? I mean, because also at the same time, it wasn't really a bad title because you held yourself like well.
Never let it
I'll
go
be
to
the
your
I'll be
head.
the same regardless if
didn't.
I'm at work or if I'm at home.
Yeah.
Of course,
You
I have
know,
to I have a nickname that I'm not going to say on camera, but I have to be that certain person at home with my mom. But Jawan pretty much is what you see
Absolutely.
everywhere. Pretty much the same person in and out of work.
100%.
But yeah, man, at first it took a toll, but I was like, man, you don't need them. And then a part of that as well too is that you notice somebody in that group, they also started opening bars and they also started copying what I did, well, what we did. Sorry, and you're like, well, it's just,
And then
you
they
know.
self-appointed themselves
Yeah.
as the king.
Yeah, and it's just like, come on, man, like
Yeah.
you're supposed to be better than this.
Made their
And-
own pictures.
Oh my
Yeah, I
goodness.
was like, this is.
That's cringe.
Yeah, I was like, like if it's that serious, I could have just write stuff down and hand it over to you. Like, hey, look, run this special, run that special.
Yeah.
It's like, but the thing is, they those people see the success that you have, and so they feel like, man, I can probably duplicate it, but they can't duplicate it. I mean, they can
Yeah.
try, but it's a big imitation. They're not gonna have the same business. They're not gonna have the same sales. Half the time, you walk by and there's nobody in there.
Yep.
And that's a lot of people from what I've noticed from having that big circle to that small circle. So
Yeah.
for the small people that stuck around, thank you.
Yeah.
I know I didn't say like AJ and Jamie and all them, but that's completed. That's like you guys are family. They're like family.
They're
as well,
like
too.
family, for sure.
So like when I say friends and I have family, but like they're like family. So they stuck around with me for a long time as well too. They still are here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had an old bar regular your old teacher.
Yeah.
He used to tell me one thing because I bartended at Woody's, like I said, for about a tenured, and he was there every single day. Every single day he was there, and I would say something about something about your friends. And he's like, Chris. He would tell every single time, Chris, these are not my friends. They're acquaintances. And I'm like, Teach, what are you talking about, man? You hang out with these guys every single day. You buy them a drink. You talk with them. You shoot the breeze with them. Every day you're around them. He was like, they're my acquaintances. And it took me a long time to realize the difference between acquaintances and friends. Because, you know, I always joke and I would tell people, man, if you don't have my cell phone, you're not my friend. If you don't have my cell phone number, or if I don't have your number in my phone, we're not friends. We're acquaintances.
Yeah, if you're Facebook messaging me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If I don't
Goodness.
save your number, we're not friends.
Exactly. So I think that's a lot, you know, on the social side that we have seen in our lives, you know, the people that can celebrate our wins, you know, and support us and be there for us when we need to. And, you know, one thing that we get a lot, and I completely stopped. I don't post any of my cars, motorcycles, trips, nothing on Facebook. The only thing I usually post on Facebook and have for the last few years is my daughter, and that is, I will never be more proud of it. That will be my greatest success. She's a month away from graduating TCU.
Go Cadence.
Go Frogs and go Cadence. And that I always say, and I will stand by it for the rest of my life. It doesn't matter how many, you know, zeros are in my bank account. That getting her through TCU is my greatest success, and it always will be. But other than that, if you notice, I haven't posted anything about anything. Like, Jawan can't even post a ski trip without, oh, man, must
Tight
be nice to be
invite.
rich.
Tight invite.
Must be nice to be rich. Nice flex, Jawan. This, that, and the other. And it's like, man, he's earned that, and he has worked so hard to be able to do what he wants to do. But it's those people that aren't doing better than him that want to nitpick and, you know, oh, must be nice, must be nice is one of the worst things to say to somebody. And now I've learned to be able to kind of laugh that off, because I'm like, yeah, it is real nice, I'll be honest with you. But nobody wants to see the grind and the hard work, the literally blood, sweat, and tears that we put into it.
Yep.
They only want to ridicule us for what we show when we show a little bit of our success or the freedom that it gives us. So,
Right.
Man, that is it's annoying. It
You
really
can tell a
is.
lot about a friendship based on how they comment on your successes.
For sure.
Not even a lot. You can tell everything.
It's like,
Like-
the thing is, like, it's like they're either not, if they don't feel like they're better, but if you're not on the same level as them, or they're not on the same level as you, they're like, I guess in a way, what are you doing that I'm not?
Exactly.
And then you try to guide them, they're like, oh, you're wrong. It's like, all right, cool, stay there, I'll go here.
Exactly. Yeah, and watch me rise.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good glimpse into the personal side of, how important it is the people you surround yourselves are with, how important that is, and the people that really truly believe in you, you know, raise you up and support and want the best for you. Another really important set of people you put around as business owners is, you know, I could go into how important it is to have, you know, you're obviously having partners. If you're going to bring partners in, it's extremely important. If you go back and you watch our episode 1 where we all introduce ourselves, I think you'll get a better idea of why these people are sitting next to me as partners. I've always told them that when I open up another spot, I never want them, I want to have no choice but say, hey, you're coming with me. I cannot do this without you. I don't want to do this without you. And that's what separates that's what separates people, is it's like, man, they're doing good here, but they're not on the next level. They don't want the next level. They don't want the eagerness of the next level. And I think that's why I've had a lot of really great employees. Definitely a lot of really great employees, but we have to recognize the ones that are built for what we do and the ones that are built for the 9 to 5s, and that's okay. 9 to 5 people that's 100% okay with them, because entrepreneurship is not for everybody. You don't know how much money you're going to have in your account sometimes. You don't know when you're going to have your good days or bad days. 9 to 5s, you show up to work. You know, maybe you're a car salesman. Maybe you work in a corporate office. You know what you're going to do every single day. You know what time your lunch break is every single day. You know what time you're going to clock out every day. And if the work's not done at 5 o'clock, that's fine. You still get to clock out, and you get to clock back in at 8 o'clock the next morning and finish what you did.
Yep.
Whereas entrepreneurship is, you might be there from 8 to 8. You might be there from 8 to midnight. You might be there 24 hours sometimes. You just really never know what you're going to get. And as a CEO or an owner or whatever position you are in as an ownership, you're also the janitor. you know, and that's what a lot of people don't understand is when things go wrong and a bartender doesn't show up, Jawan fills in. He's the one bartending. You know, we didn't pay people to hang all of our Christmas lights the other day. These girls did that, you know, so it's one of those things that whenever you do own a business, you wear every single hat in that business, and you never know what day you're going to have to put it on. You may have to cancel vacations. You may have to cancel plans because your business needs you, and it is your baby. And I cannot tell you, you know, how many times that we would have somebody call in on a Monday or Tuesday night. Oh, I can't work. My baby this or my car this or whatever. And it was nobody to work. This man stood up every single time. It's like, I'll go to work. Doesn't matter if you work that day, the night before, if you had plans, I'll go close. I'll go close. And that is why he's sitting here today. And that's why he's a successful entrepreneur, is because when the work needs to be done, you know, and I tell you kudos all the time. Bailey stays till 5 or 6 o'clock almost every single day. I'm at the gym and already having dinner by the time she's going home. You know, KP is messaging us at 9:30 at night. You know, hey, can you look this up for me? What's going on with this? You know, so even though our work schedules look a little bit different, the grind is always the same. Absolutely. So a little bit what I want to talk about is, so they understand how it's not just us, but it is the people that we put underneath us. We had a really good meeting yesterday and basically lined out a almost corporate style pecking order that we want, that is
Still up there.
that is going to be needed for us to go to the next level. And so I want to talk about that a little bit. We can start with Jawan and Richardson, because that was really important for him to be able to manage and then figure out who needed to be in place in order to be able to get out of Richardson 24/7 and be able to move back to Fort Worth. And KP and Jawan have worked really hard to get Shay where she needs to be. And I was listening to a deal that Mark Zuckerberg said, and it was, you know, I wouldn't hire anybody I wouldn't want to work for. And I really got to thinking about that, and I was like, man, I would work for any one of y'all, because I know y'all are really good, fair bosses that are willing to get in and do the work when it needs to be done. So I think that is a very, very important part of your circle, because it doesn't necessarily always mean your friend circle or your business partner circle. Your employees right underneath you that you trust to run your company are also a part of another circle. So that is an extremely important situation, is when you're looking to hire people. So and I think you guys are really good to talk on that, because of how many people we went through in Richardson before we found our Shay and our Sarita.
Right.
I mean, that's what we always talked about, was how the loyalty was a little bit different than what it is in Fort Worth. Richardson's more Dallas, and I mean, if you're not from here, you know how Dallas and Fort Worth they compete, but the loyalty was so different.
Yeah, the loyalty out there was tough. I mean, we had people call us that used to work for us, and it's like, oh, that person's definitely loyal to us, but clearly it didn't work out. And it's like one of those things that Shay, prior to becoming the GM, we were originally going to make her the GM, and then Trevor had called and was like, let's give him a chance. You know, he's worked with us before, but then it just didn't work out. And so throughout all of that, she still stuck around. It was like, they gave us like no choice. And right now, Richardson is running itself, but she's out there making sure that it runs itself. She's making sure that the day-to-day stuff is done. The things that we all do out here, she's doing all out there, you know, scheduling, inventory, keeping up with the employees, keeping up with the the property management, make sure the property looks good, make sure there's events out there. So she holds the standard that we want out there. She cares about the company. She cares about the company like it's her own.
Correct.
And I'll tell you why. Do y'all know what her ultimate goal is, right?
To own a bar.
To own. And she's mentioned that.
Yep.
And when I say surround yourself with people that you want to be like, she has picked you guys to surround herself with and learn and be mentored by. So
she literally, I texted her and I was like, hey, I'm coming out to see you on Monday. And it was like all exclamations, yay, so excited. And it makes you feel good, but it also reminds you that these people need us.
Yeah.
And they want to be around us, and we have stuff to offer them.
Touch you a certain way, because not that sounds so weird. Sorry, but I mean, like inside it touch you a certain way that it's I guess it's motivating to keep working hard, because you think, again, you do have people under you who look up to you, so you want to make sure that you're there at your best for them, because I mean, in the end, like we do notice that she wants to open her own bar.
Yeah.
What's stopping us from investing in her, because she holds our certain standard? You know, like would be,
Amen.
I guess, in a way, would behoove us to not be there for her whenever her time did come. You know, Sarita in the kitchen. I know she hadn't said anything about owning, but she does run a tight knit kitchen up there. We ran through 3 kitchen managers out there before we actually found our Sarita, and you know, like again, Richardson is killing it right now. So yeah, like.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to talk about another hire that you brought on that has been exceptional for us, and that's Cody. You know, one of the most important things about your circle and the people you surround yourself with is you never want to be the smartest person in the room. If you are, you're in the wrong room. And I'm not saying that Cody's the smartest person in the room, but he does bring an aspect to the company that is undeniable. You know, and he's done an incredible job with the knowledge that he brings that we don't necessarily, I'm not going to say we don't possess, but he is really good at it. You know, it's a very strong suit for him, and numbers are a big strong suit for him. Algorithms and spreadsheets and things like that, and being very diligent. I'm not going to, he's a little OCD about it, and that's a good thing.
That's
and
a great
KP
thing.
is as well.
Yes.
And that's a good thing, and I don't talk bad about that by any means. It's definitely an asset to the company. But what did you see in Cody that made you want to say, hey, man, I got to bring this guy on? Because one thing I've talked to you guys about a lot is we're not in the business of hiring your friends. And that is, I'll tell you guys right now, I don't care what your circle looks like. You're not in the business of hiring your friends. That is a very, very dangerous situation, and you'll find yourself that you don't have friends afterwards.
So, yeah, 'cause the friends are the ones who steal from you and make you seem like you're the bad person.
Absolutely.
But no, with Cody, I thought he was joking originally. I'm not gonna lie, because he was with Torchies for years, and every Torchies I've been to every single Torchies that he's opened, and I was like, man, this guy like kills it over here. You know, between the bar inventory, between the staff, I would walk in and be like, oh, you know Cody? I was like, yeah, I'm sorry guys. And they're like, no, he's so fun. I like it. I was like, oh, that's cool. I like that. You know, but he also knows how to separate work from you know, friendship and stuff like that. But whenever we said we're opening Seared, and I was like, man, we're looking for a GM, we got to start interviewing these people, Cody was like, let me apply. I was like, no. I was like, absolutely not. Cody, you're about to get your own store with Torchies. Stay there. And he was like, all right. Well, then I think we interviewed 2 people, I believe, here for Seared. I was like, man, because him and I talk about work all the time. I was like, man, I don't think those are going to work. He goes, let me apply. I was like, are you serious, man? Like, just, are you sure? Because again, I've seen his work ethic. I actually worked for his parents in 2020 when the pubs were shut down. I was like, if he has any kind of work ethic like his parents do, he's gonna kill it. And so I didn't even want to speak during the interview. I want to let y'all like do that. And I was just like sitting there and listening to him interview. I was like, ain't no way this is Cody's interview. Because again, friendship, you don't hire them. But he separated the two, and he's a future thinking person.
Yeah.
He's amazing with
big picture.
Like everything that we're good at, like I'm not saying he's better at, but he knows a little bit more that can help us like learn more as well too. So I mean, I think the moment he left, you guys were like, are we interviewing anybody else?
It was a no-brainer.
Chris's answer was, let's just be honest. Cody killed it. We're hiring him, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I wasn't for it because I told you I'm not into hiring friends. But I mean, again, it was just one of those situations. I feel like he gave us no choice.
Yeah, and it's just like already now. I was talking to, because we play softball together. We're just, for some reason, talking about work, even though we hate talking about work outside of work. I was like, you got a promotion today. It's just like, I told him, I was like, man, that shows you, because knowing Cody, sometimes he does get down on himself because he grew up, was always the smartest in a lot of places. So it does get to him sometimes when he feels like I don't mean to put him out there like that. When he does feel like people don't relate to him, it kind of gets to him a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, man, you're killing it. Like, stop beating yourself up. Have fun, like go out and do it, and then goes out and make this amazing catch.
Yeah.
we won the championship. So
And that's who you want to. That's who you want to surround yourself
and it's
by.
like,
A man of many trades.
you're right, because like, you can always see it. Like it does get to him, but like if you talk him up, like Cody kills it, and I think that with him, I think he can show that with anybody else, like guiding them in the right way. Like, all right, cool. I guess I can't be the smartest in the room, but I can also help people learn more.
Yeah.
That's the reason why it helps having him.
He's been so good even telling us, like, why are y'all doing this? Which you've been telling us, but it's good to hear from somebody else too. And Cody's like, I can do all this. Y'all stop. Like, why would you keep, going in and digging in the trenches when I'm here to elevate y'all from that?
He said before Chris made that chart, he tripped him. He's like, hey, not to sound rude, I know you guys are owners, but I don't want you guys in the restaurant constantly like you guys are at Rabbit Hole with Mad Hatter, because there's going to be a time where the employees will come talk to you and think like, oh, all of a sudden I'm friends with the owners. I don't have to listen to you. They're going to feel that way. Like we see it with some of the regulars, like, oh, I have Juwan's, I'm Rev Chris, I'm the KP Bailey. So it's like, and you have to like remind the employees like, hey, look, I know them.
Yeah.
We're not friends. That doesn't mean. And now know if they name drop any of us, that's not a real thing.
Yeah.
But Cody holds that standard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm excited to work with Cody from here on out.
Well, and you mentioning holding people to a standard, that's another great point that I feel like that needs to be made is, the good thing is for us is we all do hold each other to a standard. And, we've worked together for years, and I don't feel like any one person's been like, man, I'm pulling all of this weight and none of the other three are doing anything or, in any way. I think that we all have found our lanes and kind of excel at what we do. And of course, some of that's going to get turned over to Cody, but it's one of those things that I don't ever call them out in a group setting or anything like that. But if I have an issue or something I feel like that's not getting done, I call them directly. And it's a direct conversation in person normally with them that I've had. And I've had several of them with KP, with Bailey and Juwan, whether it's a frustration I have, whether it's, something I feel like that's not getting done that I've asked them to do several times. And none of them take it personally. And that's really what says a lot about them, is the fact that they don't take it personally and that they internalize it as, man, he's holding me to a standard and I'm not getting to that standard. I need to pick it up. And because we can fall into our comfort zone, and that's a dangerous place to be, is our comfort zone. And if you're not around people that are pushing you and you continue to stay in that small group of friends and all they, you're just comfortable. Nobody's talking about business. Nobody's asking about how can we make more money? How can we, open a new business, grow the current businesses we have? If you stay on that level, that's your comfort zone, and right now we run successful businesses. If we weren't doing a podcast, if we weren't having the conversations of, hey, let's start looking for more businesses. Hey, let's start opening Seared, those type things, then we could just die in our comfort zone. And my biggest fear is, was always, man, what if, bars don't always last forever. We're lucky that ours are successful, but, bars don't always last forever. So 5-10 years down the road from now, if all of them went under for some reason because of, maybe people stopped drinking, maybe the development kicked us out or something like that, and we weren't able to find a new place, where would we be at that point if we don't push ourselves and push one another to open more businesses, to invest in more businesses and other people? So our comfort zone is a real dangerous place to be. That's a real reflection of a person if they can take a criticism or a suggestion of, hey, let's elevate ourselves here, and not take it personally as if I'm coming after you personally, that you're not doing a great job at what you're doing. It's just like you've fallen into your comfort zone and you need to be pushed, and I think that it hasn't happened often, but we've definitely, Bailey was talking about it in one of our other episodes of, she just felt like she wasn't the one for the job. But sometimes we see in other people what they can't see in themselves. And that's obviously what I have seen in all of y'all. Juwan wasn't always the most confident person when it came to running his business and just talking, really. I mean, and reprimanding people. But, you know, I'll give a quick example is when I had to let someone go because they couldn't stop drinking. They couldn't get to the register to ring things in. And he called me one evening and he said, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm putting my shoes on. I'm about to head to Mad Hatter. You know, I've got to let someone go." And he was like, "No, dude, take your shoes off. I'll go do it." I'm like, "No, man, I probably need to do it." And he's like, "No, I got it. Stay home. I'll call you when I'm done." "Are you sure?" He's like, "Yeah." And that is a role now, you know, that he is easily stepped in. And I don't mean to be like, say, fire people, but to be able to manage and hold his employees to a certain level. And if not, he lets them know, "Hey, this is what we expect of you. This is what we need from you. And if you can't do it, then this might be your final warning." And that is something that he had to grow into. Same thing for Bailey, because it does take a little bit of time to realize this is my business. Once you open it, it does take a little bit of time to sink in that, man, this is mine. And if I don't take care of it, nobody will. You know, so
That's a great another great example of having your right circle, because you talking about that. And Juwan, I'm known as the group as the softie.
Yep.
People call me if they're upset or they need somebody to, you know, some shoulders to cry on. I come from a different world. I remember when I first started working with y'all and y'all told me that people will show up to work drunk and all this stuff. I'm like, that does not happen. There's no way. And I don't know how many times Joanna's told me, like, wake up, this happens. Like, this is, no, they were actually drunk, or they did actually, you know, sell drugs on location, you know, stuff like that I'm just so naive of. But I feel like y'all have helped me a lot, really, like, realize, like, I can't be so soft with people. But the good news is, maybe if it's a situation where somebody might need a little more softness, I got that in me. If it's a situation where somebody needs a little more toughness, we got that in Juwan. You know, it's like, we can't all be soft,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
but it's nice to have, like, that, you know, we
That
can work with
variety.
each other on that.
yeah. And I think that that's a really great example as well. I think one other thing that we can kind of, you know, I think the main point that I wanted to get across in this video was to let people know you can hear the cliche sayings of you're like the same 5 people you surround yourself with. You know, your circle is your social mirror. You know, hang around people that you want to be like, that type things. Those essentially become kind of cliche sayings if you don't actually implement them. You know, it's easy to say, oh, you know, hang around people that you want to be like. But if you never implement that and you never make that uncomfortable situation or uncomfortable decision to put yourself around people, because when I started hanging out with millionaires, I was barely a thousandaire, you know? So it was uncomfortable for me, and I always felt a little bit less than. But those people that I chose to be around never treated me different.
Yeah.
And, you know, whether I drive a Kia or a GTR, Kenny is always going to treat me the same. Y'all will always treat me the same. You know, I had an employee asked me one time, "Chris, what happened if you lost?" It's when I had the R8 and stuff. "What happened if you lost your supercar and had to sell all your cars and bikes and everything?" I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Well, what would you do? Like, who would you be then?" And I'm like, "Whoa, bub."
Wow.
If you think that the cars and the bikes are who I am, you've seriously missed the mark. Now, granted, I try not to get close or involved with my employees, but that was them looking at social media and thinking, man, this is all this guy's about. If he didn't have these, he would have nothing. Well, that's not true, because one, I have an incredible team around me. I have a beautiful daughter, and I have a lot of friends that believe in me. So I do know if everything went south tomorrow, I know that I have built enough relationships and put a close enough amount of people around me in my circle that believe in me to where if I went to someone and said, I need to borrow $200,000 to start back over, they would without question give it to me. You know, and those are the people that you need to be around. Also, I think just we touched on it in another episode, just really quick, and y'all don't have to say much if you don't want to, but the importance of the spouse around you. If you don't have a good spouse, they can break you or they can build you. And I like to think that that's why Juwan's been so choosy, because he hasn't found that right one that's going to support and build him up. But I do know that they will be coming. But Juwan has chose to not make that his top priority. I know, because he's continuing to build himself. And praying for himself to be the man that he needs to be before he introduces somebody like that. And I just pray for him that woman is doing the same thing. But we do know, Nick, and we do know Pritchard, and they're just an absolute asset to our company. Not only for the willingness to jump in and do anything that we ask them to do, but the support that they give y'all behind the scenes.
Yes. Yep. They're our biggest cheerleaders.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
if we're ever having a down day, or if there's no time that I don't walk away from Nick with full confidence again.
Yeah.
And I get that in y'all, but when it's your person at home,
For sure.
Every day to believe in you and push you and encourage us to do more.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
of us to do
And
more. It's a big deal.
It is.
I hope I found the right one, but
Yeah.
we'll see. But
Not trying to take it off subject, but the funniest thing about Chris and Kia last year and Christmas. Kia sponsors the ball drop in New York.
I did not know that.
He's
Okay.
gonna make me sound real pretentious right now.
And the thing is, he's not, but it's the funniest thing ever. Like, we're walking, we left, I think we just left Jimmy's Corner. We're like joking, having fun.
We were in New York, if y'all didn't pick up on that.
And so we're walking through Times Square, and all of a sudden you see me, I see the Kia sign. And Chris is right behind him. He goes, "What does KM stand for?" I was like, "What?" Bro? Like, what
Didn't even know.
I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Cam, who is that?" I go,
Kia?
"Kia?" It's just like,
Had no
and I go,
clue.
"You know what? You deserve that. Once you make it with certain cars, you don't
know
think
what?
about
If it's not a horse, I don't know.
if it's not a horse, if it start with a D in front of it, or
If it doesn't
GTO.
go really fast.
Yeah.
Honestly, I
If it's
laughed
not
for about
red.
a block. I was like,
If it
That
doesn't have
is
an Italian pony, I'm kidding. But y'all, keep in mind, I did drive tote the notes for years
he did. He had two
before I
tokens
ever
for
got
it.
into supercars or
But
anything like
Yeah.
I
that. But
wish I could have just saw my face.
Recorded that.
When I
Yeah.
told him and I said it's Kia, he was just like,
he did not.
he
Yeah,
knew what was coming next.
that, there
Oscar,
was-
you're going with them to New York next time. We need to catch all this
yeah,
on
there,
camera.
I was like, man. He goes, you made it when you don't even know what the Kia sign is.
Seriously, though.
I was like, man, I really had no clue. I really didn't. I was being dead serious
Because
too.
he was full on. dead to
He
his-
has
I was
even
like,
stepped it up, too.
Yeah, Kia,
I know.
Leaving yesterday from the gym, Kia, I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was a Ferrari at first.
That little
Because
stinger.
the little white one at the front of me, I was like, "Oh, who's this Ferrari parking next to
Yeah.
my court?" This is, I walked over, it's a Kia.
Yeah. That little stinger.
Like Chris's
That's
face,
funny.
Oh, that's a
And,
good
like,
one.
you could tell he was like, "Dang, he got me."
Yeah.
You know Chris's face. You're like, "Man, I got him.
I had no idea what that was. Yeah.
That's so
not know.
funny.
Oh, my gosh.
But and I will. We can end this on this because I want to kind of. Oscar sits behind the scenes and does all of our filming and stuff for us. And he's a youngster, 21 years old, and
22 next week, right?
yeah. And so the opportunities again, he stepped out of his comfort zone. To go up to us at a race and was like, man, can I take pictures of you guys? He was a full-time electrician. But again, what I mean by if you want to be somebody and you want the things that they have, you have to figure out a way to surround yourself with them. And Oscar went out of his comfort zone. He had his camera and asked, hey, can I come take pictures of you guys? And wanted to take pictures of the GTR and this, that, and the other. And now he's filming DDE, films for Jotech and things like that. And people are asking him to come do film. And now he is sitting in an office and editing and assisting for us and doing things like that. Things that were his goals and his dreams that he wants to do. And now I hope that he continues to see that. Now we even offered him a little bit more yesterday as far as a little bit more involvement in our own companies, not just, a little bit of filming here and there. So, that just goes to show it is so important, and maybe we'll have him on one time and have him speak about how he feels about it. But it's so important to figure out a way to put yourself around the people that you want to be like, and the things that they have, and not in a jealous way. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than winning with your circle.
amen.
And
Amen.
if you aren't challenged, or you're, not competing is not the right word, but really just challenging yourself and challenging each other, you're not going to have those wins
Yep.
as often.
Yeah.
But man, there's really no better feeling than winning. And
Yeah.
when you get to do it with your people,
And when
it's
they
everything.
can celebrate your success
Yeah.
with zero jealousy, you have
Yeah.
the right people around you.
Yes.
So
Agreed.
Absolutely.
I think that's a good way to wrap it up. Again, the reason for this podcast is you do hear a lot of the cliche sayings that I repeated earlier, and especially in little short reels and in fun little posts and things like that on Instagram and TikTok. But again, what we're trying to show you guys is the real in-depth of what that actually looks like, how you can be treated, the emotional roller coaster that it can be, and also the downfall of if you do find yourself in a comfort zone or around the people that don't push you, that you will continue to stay exactly where you're at unless you have the mental fortitude and the drive and the want to be that person, to step out, to be that leader, like all of us have been. We've really not let the people that we were around dictate our future. We always knew we wanted better for one another and for ourselves. And so we have continued to try to elevate ourselves on every level and every part of our life, mentally, physically, and spiritually. We have all made it a point to build ourselves up and continue to elevate ourselves and put us around the people that we want to be like. And so we really encourage you guys to do the same thing. Know that those aren't just cliche sayings, but they do, in fact, dictate where your life will go. So if anybody has
Absolutely.
anything else, I hope everybody, got their point across and said what they want to say. And I hope, like we prayed at the beginning, that if this is something that you needed to hear, I hope that you heard it and understand the importance of, putting yourself around the people that you want to be like. And if you see something in somebody else's life that you want, go ask them how they got it. Hard Knocks, I'll get just last one. Hard Knocks, the guys of Hard Knocks, that's how he literally made his living, walking around asking people, how did you become a billionaire? And now he's a multimillionaire himself.
Yep.
So. Yep. All right. Well, until the next episode, we are the Sweat Equity Podcast, brought to you by M4D Concepts. We hope you join us again. Like, subscribe, and if you have any questions or any comments, please drop them in the comment box, and we will make sure that we get to them. And if there's an episode you want to hear or something a subject that you want us to do an episode on, please drop that in, and we'll definitely make that happen for you guys. So God bless and be easy.